The 750 Formula Championship, now backed by Premier Choice Group, was founded in 1949, and as Andy McEwen discovered, the emphasis is towards the amateur, engineer and driver.
So I'm here now then with Ed Pither, but first of all I'm going to speak actually to Richard Rothery, because Richard, this car we've got behind us here, you were pretty influential in the building of this.
Yeah, so we've spent we spent 18 months prior to last season sort of sitting down, thinking about it with paper, designing it, going through all the detail, because 750 Formula is kind of one of those formulas where you can pretty much go from scratch and design from the ground up. So we decided, rather than going and buying a car and going back to basics with it, you might as well start from scratch in the first place. So that's pretty much what we did, and here we are.
It must be so rewarding though when you actually get to take it out on the track for the first time.
It is. It's quite scary as well. When you've put as much time into a car as we have, you do have a tendency to worry about it a lot more. But yeah, the feeling of driving something you've created yourself is really special.
And you had an opportunity to drive it yesterday, you had the first race of the season. How did that go for you?
It went very well. We had a lot of reliability problems last year. When we did get going, it seemed to go pretty well, and yesterday it went pretty well as well, and we did finish and we ended up second, so that was a super result. We couldn't have started better really.
Well, yesterday there were no flies on Billy Allbone. He took the win in the opening round of the championship by more than 7 seconds from that man we just heard from, Ed Pither. And Allbone and Pither line up on the front row of the grid today, not based on the finishing order from yesterday, but on the second fastest qualifying times set in yesterday's session. So on the second row it's number 6 Bill Cowley and number 85 Robin Gearing. As the lights go out, not a great start there from number 17 Ed Pither. Billy Allbone did get away very nicely indeed though, and heads down towards the first corner at Redgate in the lead of the race. Bill Cowley there making a very good start indeed, trying to slice up on the inside of Robin Gearing and get second place, and I think he's done it. So it's Allbone leading, Cowley is second, and Robin Gearing, who started fourth, is in third place, but he's now fighting back. For the moment though, Cowley still holds on. It looks like Chris Goff is in fourth position. Fifth place is Ed Pither after that rather poor start. There's number 42, which is Andrew Kemp, the 39-year-old race car constructor, constructing the race kits Falcon, of course. Now in his second season of racing is Andrew Kemp. As we look at the race leader, Billy Allbone then. Billy, who won half a dozen races during the course of the 2013 season, and were it not for a couple of exclusions at Pembrey, then he would have had done enough to take the championship last year. As we see this fight going on for second and third, it looks like Robin Gearing has made it through as they just disappeared out of our shot there. It looks like Gearing had got back ahead of Bill Cowley, and we'll get that confirmed as they come back towards us. Yes, he has. So Robin Gearing is through into second place in the Derby P88. In third place now, Bill Cowley. In fourth position, it's Chris Goff. Fifth is still Ed Pither. Now, has Bill Cowley got an answer to Robin Gearing's manoeuvre, we wonder? Bill Cowley in car number 6, the 20-year-old from Doncaster. He's been karting since the age of 8. And talking of karting, that's Billy Allbone's background, racing in Super 1 karting in the past. Now in his third season of racing in the Premier Choice Group 750 Formula Championship. With rather more experience is number 5 Bob Simpson. It's his 46th season now of racing in this series. He's been doing it since the late 1960s. Fantastic dedication to the course, rewarded at the 750 Motor Club Awards night earlier on in the season. As we look at Ed Pither trying to find his way back ahead of Chris Goff then. Pither, second yesterday, did not make the best of starts to this race and has fallen behind Chris Goff, who started 6th. Goff with the number 2 on his card, denoting that he finished second in the championship last year in his CGR2 Evo, and that was a triumph of consistency over overall results really, because he didn't have any wins last year, didn't Chris Goff, but he was always there or thereabouts, and that is what matters. Goff and Pither then heading down towards the Fogarty S's. Pither having a look down the inside. The man from Hinklage, puff of smoke there as he locks a brake. And he stays 5th for the moment. Allbone leading in that Baton 3 from the Derby, and then it's the Cowley Mark 4. Here's Goff, and Dave Robson now actually putting a bit of pressure on Ed Pither. Dave Robson, car number 3, the man from Ashbourne, in another self-constructed car, the SDAR 83, constructed more than 30 years ago now, but constantly developed every year, of course. And now, like all of the cars running the Fiat 1108cc fire engine, as opposed to the 850cc Reliant that it would have boasted when the car was new. Pither in car number 17 on this championship for sports prototype cars of individual design and build. Very lightweight, some of these cars, 375 kilo minimum weight, so although there's not much power, no more than 100 brake horsepower, the power to weight ratio is really excellent, and the lap times therefore are very good, very competitive against much more expensive forms of racing. The car's running on Yokohama Control slick tyres, as well as Pither now gets the move done at McLean's. Finally he finds a way past Chris Goff, who hadn't made it easy for him at all. Goff though loses 4th position now to Ed Pither, a former low-cost racer, now racing in 750 Formula in this PRS 1B. Pither's got an awful lot of work to do now though to try and catch the top 3. I'm not sure that he's going to be equal to that task either, I'm afraid, with laps running out on him. Bill Rutter, you can see just in the background there in number 8. Another of the Darvies, a Mark 5, sporting new bodywork this weekend. Round the hairpin goes number 2, Chris Goff. Now then he'll do battle with Dave Robson. Making their way up towards Goddard's hairpin once more. Robin Gearing still in 2nd position. He just got 2nd place away from Ed Pither yesterday when he had a spin down at the Melbourne hairpin, and I think he was metaphorically kicking himself in the cockpit there after that moment, because he really threw away any chance of catching Billy Allbone, and certainly any chance of taking 2nd place. Goff and Robson, with not very much to choose between the two of them, it must be said. Goff from Telford in Shropshire, under attack here from Dave Robson, the champion in 2009 and 2012 as well. Couldn't defend his title last year there. It went the way of Dave Hodkin in his 2nd season of racing in 750 Formula, but not here certainly this weekend. Not sure if we'll see Dave out during the course of the year or not. If he's ticked this one off his list of accomplishments now. Bob Simpson you can still see in the background there, number 5, the man from Middlesex, 67 years of age. It's Bob, plumber by trade, the champion for the first time back in 1978, then 1980, 89 and 2003 as well. As Dave Robson locks up in his 1983 built car compared to the 1991 built car for Bob Simpson, which is comparatively fresh off the production line. All an enveloping bodywork there on Chris Goff's car. As 85 Robin Gearing goes through. Some lappery is now being done, I noticed as well. Ian Barley's race kits Falcon, number 43, had been put back a lap by Robin Gearing there. Simpson just running a couple of wheels over the white line, which is perfectly okay, of course, where there is a curb. But where there's no curb, you can't go any wheels over the white line at all. That's the new regulation for this season, as Dave Robson dives up the inside of Chris Goff and takes 5th place away. Well, that came out of nowhere, really, didn't it? There's Billy Allbone. He's still there, out in front of this race. We've not seen much of him, but we don't really need to. He's thoroughly in control. There you just caught a glimpse of the High Wycombe man, Ian Barley, in his Falcon that's about to be lapped. Indeed, is now lapped by Robson and Goff, having just changed the order, of course, of those two. Down at the old hairpin with that late manoeuvre from Robson, which possibly caught Chris Goff napping a little bit. Down to the left-hander at the Fogarty Aces they go, named for Carl Fogarty, of course, the former British World Superbike champion. Pithett turns his way into Melbourne hairpin. Then Robson and Goff do likewise. Two real stalwarts of the championship. You very rarely see them miss around. Both enjoy the atmosphere and paddock camaraderie that we have in the Premier Choice Group 750 Formula Championship. Something that the late Mike Izzard of Premier Choice did so much to promote over the few seasons that he was involved in the championship. Quick look there at number 9, which is Mark Glover, the 45-year-old aerospace engineer working at Rolls-Royce. And he's out there in another of the Race Kits Falcons. There's a few of them out on track for this season. Through towards Schwanzkirch go Robson and Goff, as down towards us comes number 14. Being lapped is Nigel Harvey from Ipswich in the PC Special. Billy Allbone went through, and there is Robin Gearing, number 85. Or yesterday, Robin Gearing smashed Bob Simpson's 13-year-old lap record. It was a 1 minute 55 set more than a decade ago, but 1 minute 45.09 yesterday for Robin Gearing. Different engine, of course, these days, but nevertheless a great performance from Robin Gearing. Billy Allbone goes through then. Gearing in second. Third place is Bill Cowley. The Cowley Mark IV just behind this car. It's the car designed and built by Bill's granddad, Bill Senior. Also raced by Bill Junior's dad, Nigel Cowley, as well for many a season. Billy Allbone turning his way out of Coppice now onto the exhibition straight. This has been a very classy performance by Billy Allbone with this Baton 3, an unconventional 750 Formula car. Left hooker, as you can see. All the cars have offset driving positions, and it's got a transverse mounted engine as well. There's the more usual Derby P88 of Robin Gearing, more traditional in its design, but very rapid, as we were saying then, in Robin's hands. Quite rapid enough though. He's not gone as fast as he did yesterday. Billy Allbone's not been too far off Robin's lap record from yesterday, but he's not quite beaten it unless he does it this lap. As up and over the line he comes, takes the win. It's a clear win for Billy Allbone, his second of the weekend in the Premier Choice Group 750 Formula Championship, beating Robin Gearing by a shade under 4 seconds. He'll be very pleased with that, and his family and all of the rest of the team will as well. Bill Cowley it was that took third position. All acknowledging the marshals there on the slowing down lap as we take a look at the results. Confirmation of a 3.8 second win for the man from Bedfordshire. Gearing from Toaster was second, and Doncaster's Cowley was third. In 7th place was Dave Robson in the end. 8th was Andrew Kemp. 9th Mark Glover, the fastest lap going to Billy Allbone.
Stunning looking car. You drove at 110%, as you said before. You just didn't quite have enough to catch these two.
No, not really, but like I said, 110%. It's a finish for a start. And yeah, it's a finish. Just hopefully can carry on for the rest of the season like this.
Pretty interesting history to the car. Was it your grandfather drove it, I believe?
My grandfather didn't drive it. He built it, but he had a special engine and the Bandits engine. Then they sold it. Then my dad bought it back in early 90s, I think. Raced it for a bit. Then packed in car, started karting. Then I took over again.
Robin, second place, pretty quiet race for you all in all, but still great way to start the season with a podium.
Yeah, I mean, I got a really good start, and Billy got a really good one as well, so I tucked him behind here, managed to pass him at the end of the first lap and come to the chicane. And then I thought he was done and dusted, but he came back at me a little bit in the middle of the race, so I had to try and keep the gap, and then I think Billy said he made a little mistake and it was relatively comfortable, but Billy Albon was gone down the road by then.
You seem to get out in front right from the start, eased away and then just control it from there.
Yeah, it's pushed at the beginning, get a gap, just cruise home really. That's about it.
No dramas whatsoever, everything running perfectly smoothly with the car?
Yeah, I'm happy with everything. It's sound for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, you must be going for that championship now. You missed out on it last year.
It's looking good, isn't it?
It's the perfect way to start. Well done.